It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Gladiator's Assault was released November 14th, 2007. This set introduced the Gladiator Beast, Cloudian, and Evil Hero archetypes. The Gladiator Beast archetype, one of the most powerful archetypes to be released in the game for a long time, they revolve around tagging themselves out after battling to special summon another Gladiator Beast monster from the deck. So essentially, when you play this deck, if you have one Gladiator Beast, you have any of them. It is a contact fusion based archetype, however, we don't get a lot of its fusion monsters until the next several sets. This archetype is not powerful now, but it will become format defining later on. The Cloudians are not really worth discussing too much. They place fog counters on monsters, and they can use those fog counters for effects, but they are not very powerful. And lastly, the Evil Hero archetype is an offshoot of the Elemental Hero archetype that has very powerful bosses, but they specifically require the fusion spell Dark Fusion to be able to make. There's also legacy support for the Ancient Gear, Gemini, Viacroid, and Alien archetypes. So I will go ahead and take you through the set. The Viacroid support in this set is not very good, but there is one card that is worth discussing for the archetype. But let's go ahead and go down some of the Gladiator Beasts. Gladiator Beast Bestiari is one of the cards that is the glue that holds this deck together. This card gets to pop a back row when it tags in, and then almost all the Gladiator Beasts have this text, where at the end of the battle phase, if the card battled, you can shuffle it into the deck to special summon a different Gladiator Beast monster from your deck. This card is extremely powerful and will get limited for reasons that you'll see when we get to later sets. Dimakari, I believe, is the double attacker. Yes, Dimakari is the double attacker. We'll probably play one of this for a while in this archetype. Secutor, I believe, summons 2, but it's also really small. So it's going to be pretty difficult to use this because it has to be tagged into, and then it tags out into 2 monsters. I don't think we'll play this, or if we play it, it'll be as a one-of. Testate floats into a level 4 or lower Gladiator Beast, which is pretty good in our format specifically because we won't have access to the high rarity stuff quite as easily. Ancient Gear Knight is a Gemini that will most likely be playing for the name if we do play the Ancient Gear archetype, but we're missing key cards, so I don't think we'll be playing it. A Super Alloy Beast Raptinus is a pretty terrible card, but it is the best piece of Gemini support there is. It's a 2200 8-star fusion of any 2 Gemini monsters, and it gives all Gemini monsters their effects without having to summon them twice. A Swing of Memories is going to be very powerful, not now, but once we get into 5Ds. This is a Monster Reborn for normal monsters, but the monster only sticks around for 1 turn. This can be used as an extender to go into synchro plays, and in any sort of normal-focused archetype, that can be very strong. And then we have a couple of equipments for the Gladiator Beast deck. They're not great, but depending on what's in our pools, we may end up having to play those. Battle Halberd's not terrible. It lets you destroy a back row after combat if you equip to a Gladiator Beast monster, and whenever a Gladiator Beast tags out, if it has a Gladiator Beast equipment on it, the equipment is returned to your hand, so you can reuse it easily. That's the place for all of the Gladiator Beast equipment, and we will be getting more of them in the future. No entry is an interesting one. It shifts all monsters on the field to defense position, which could wind up being useful in a 5Ds archetype that we'll discuss pretty early on into that era. We have a couple of very important side deck cards here. We have a Light Imprisoning Mirror and Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, which negate light effects and dark effects activated on the field or in the graveyard. This will be very powerful and will wind up in side decks if one of us winds up playing a light or dark attribute focused deck. Neither one of us have been able to do that. And we have a very powerful piece of Six Samurai support that is going to vault the archetype into playability. It is Double-Edged Sword Technique. This will let you resurrect 2 Six Samurai monsters in attack position, and then at the end phase, they get destroyed and you take damage equal to the destroyed monster's attack, but that is not going to happen because these monsters will be used for extra deck plays once we get Six Samurai tuners later on. Now, at the rare slot, we have some pretty interesting cards as well. We have Gladiator Beast Spartacus, which is their biggest low-rarity monster, but it has to be summoned specifically by Hoplimus, which is their 2100 defender. We probably play one card or one copy of this in early Glad decks, but as we get better cards for Glads, we won't be playing that anymore. The two really important rare Glad cards are Gladiator Beast Vermillo and Gladiator Beast Laquari. Laquari is a 2100 and it's one of the materials necessary for their boss monster, Gladiator Beast Heraklinos. And then Gladiator Beast Vermillo pops a monster. So in Season 1, I had a really sick Gladiator Beast pool, but I did not have a copy of Vermillo, and it was really showing how difficult it was to play the deck without Vermillo, so hopefully we get one copy. One copy is all we really need for most of these Gladiator Beast cards. Now, Evil Hero Dark Gaia, I don't think we'll be able to play the OTK involved with this, but there is an OTK involving Evil Hero Dark Gaia. And then Gladiator Beast Gaio Diaz is the only Gladiator Beast fusion at low rarity. These are all contact fusions, which plays very well with how the archetype plays. And this also lets you easily tag into multiple Gladiator Beasts during the same turn. The reason why this card is not great is because we have to have Spartacus to make it, and there are restrictions on the summoning of Spartacus. Dark Fusion is the fusion card for the Evil Hero archetype, and you have to have this card to make Evil Heroes. Colosseum Cage of the Gladiator Beasts is the Gladiator Beast field spell. It's okay. It gives your monsters an attack boost that's incremental, and then if it gets destroyed by a card effect, you can discard another copy of it to prevent it from being destroyed. However, this does not stop it from being destroyed by game mechanics, such as when a new field spell gets activated. So that's the real downside to it. And the attack increase is marginal. It's okay, but it will get cut during later Gladiator Beast iterations. Now, Battle Manica is one of the better Gladiator Beast equips. It prevents the monster from being destroyed by battle, so it's going to guarantee that it makes it through to the end of the battle as long as your opponent doesn't have interaction. One of the things that makes Gladiator Beasts somewhat difficult to play in this environment is we don't have access to a lot of the cards that make Gladiator Beast work. However, I have a couple of copies of Waboku, and Waboku shines in this sort of deck. It also makes Gladiator Beast Mirrors a real headache. And then, strangely enough, we did get one piece of alien support, and it's pretty good, but it's not good enough to make the archetype good. Cell Explosion Virus is activate when you have an opponent's monster with an A counter declare an attack, and it is just Mirror Force. It's Alien Mirror Force. It's still not good enough to make the archetype playable. Now, at the higher rarity slot, we have mostly boss monsters. Alexander is not horrible. If we get this in Gladiator Beast, we'll probably play one. Most of the high-ranking Gladiator Beasts are either fusions or they have to be special summoned by a specific Gladiator Beast. This one, Dimakari. It's a 2400 that's unaffected by spells. So if we get this in a Gladcore, we'll probably play it. So now, Cunning of the Six Samurai essentially lets a Six Samurai tag out in the middle of battle for a Six Samurai from the graveyard, which isn't terrible. It's a cute one-of. It can also be used to dodge removal, which is nice. And then most of the rest of these cards are not great. A Defensive Tactics is a Gladiator Beast Waboku, but it's at super rare, so we won't be playing this most likely because we already have Waboku, but it is another copy of the card if we do want it. Now at the ultra rare slot, most of these are pretty bad. They're either Evil Hero Fusions, which are Inferno Wing and Lightning Golem, which they're just, let's say it. They're Elemental Hero, Flame Wingman, and Thunder Giant, but they're the Evil Hero versions. We just won't be playing it because of how high rarity the archetype is, and it specifically requires Dark Fusion, which, in a set this large, we're probably not pulling 3 of any given rare. Inishi is the BLS for 6 Sams, but it destroys instead of banishes. It's basically more like Chaos Sorcerer. And then the big chase ultra that we're going to be looking for is Test Tiger. So Test Tiger, you can special summon for free if you control a face-up Gladiator Beast, and then you can attribute it to forcefully tag out a Gladiator Beast, and it's treated as though it tagged out as well. So you can use this to proc your Gladiator Beast effects outside of the battle phase. This is quite powerful with something like Secutor. So if we get a Test Tiger, we can play a 1 of Secutor, and then we can use that to tag into 2 Gladiator Beasts and get a ton of value. However, this isn't Ultra, so I wouldn't count on pulling it. And then this set, oh boy, so this set has 15 secret rares. This has more secret rares than all other holos combined. And this was one of the reasons why Upper Deck got in trouble, because they were printing too many secret rares. That's also one of the reasons why the Chase secret rares from this set were at the time of printing and now worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So Octavius is the largest non-extra deck Gladiator Beast monster that we have so far. It pops a back row when you summon it, kind of like Bestiari, but it can only hit face downs. It's 2,500, which is pretty sizable, but it doesn't tag out like the other Gladiator Beasts. It just shuffles back into the deck unless you toss a card. And then we have Elemental Hero Plasma Vice, it's a Blade Edge that combines with Sparkman, and it can also destroy attack position monsters by discarding a card. So it's kind of like Blade Edge plus a Thunder Giant. So if we get this, we'll put this in the extra deck of Hero for sure, and we may consider playing Hero one more time. We also have Super Viacroid Stealth Union, which is a fantastic future fusion target for Viacroid, and if I pull this, that will incline me to build a Viacroid deck, because I do have some very key machine parts. I'm just a little bit scared of System Down. Now, this card is a little bit strangely worded, despite having problem-solving card text. This attack decrease is not permanent, because there is a card ruling that says that it lasts until the end of the damage step. I'm not quite sure why that isn't just printed on the card, especially since it got a fairly recent reprint a couple of years ago. So what this does is you can equip a monster on the field if it's not a machine, and this is any monster, your opponent's too, and then while it's equipped with a monster, it can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. However, it becomes an 1800. And it does pierce, but it's also just a 3600 body on the defense, which is really hard to get over. And this can set up Overload Fusion plays for the Viacroid archetype very easily, but it is a secret rare in a set with 15 secret rares. So these are actually rarer individually than Ghost Rares, because the Ghost Rares are 1 in 12 boxes. The secret rares, each individual secret rare is 1 in 15 boxes. The chase card of this set is Gladiator Beast Heraklinos. This was a $300 card upon release, and it's not hard to see why. If you can have Laquari and 2 Gladiator Beasts, you can tag out into this 3K behemoth that has a spell trap negate built right in. During either player's turn, when a spell trap is activated, you can discard a card to negate it. This is not once per turn, by the way. So as long as you have cards in hand, you can negate almost any interaction your opponent has. Once this is on the table, it's very difficult to out. Now, Screech is a double Foolish Burial when destroyed by battle, as long as you're playing Waters. A Royal Firestorm Guards is Pot of Avarice for Pyros. A Necroface is going to be semi-limited for most of its stay in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, because it is associated with OTKs and FTKs. What this does, the relevant effect is if it gets banished, both players banish 5 cards from the top of their deck, so you can use this to very quickly deck out your opponent, and this card, as a result, was about $500 when the set was released. Soul Taker is not a great card, but it's very noteworthy for causing monsters to miss timing. So if you have any monster that has an optional effect that you can activate when it gets destroyed, this will cause that monster to miss timing, because the life point gain is considered a separate event from the monster destruction, and the last thing that happened was your opponent gaining life points. So if there's a monster that has an optional floating effect, then this will cause that floating effect to miss timing. And then we also had Champion Pack 4, which came to local game stores on September 6th, 2007. This Champion Pack, compared to some of the ones we've had before, is pretty tame. The only commons that are noteworthy are Soul Exchange and Manju of the 10,000 Hands. Manju is the biggest one. This is a good reprint. This gets reprinted quite a bit in Champion Packs because it's some of the best ritual support that we have. The rare slot, we have a lot of these already, but it does have some promos that we didn't have access to before. We have Return from the Different Dimension, which is our first access to this card. This was in a movie pack, but this was one of the cards that we decided to not include the first printing of for balance reasons, because that is a guaranteed pull in that movie pack. All of the movie packs have the same 8 cards, and all of them are available in future printings, so for balance reasons we decided to exclude that card specifically, but this is our chance to get it now. We also have a Kinetic Soldier reprint, which I'm pretty scared of because I have a lot of warrior-based archetypes, and this is an incredibly powerful card versus warrior. A demon already has one, so him getting another one is pretty scary. And then Magician's Circle would be the card that I would want to go for if I do wind up getting this pack, but I am likely going to be spinning the wildcard wheel to try to get some of the high rarity stuff out of these sets. And then the super rares, it's interesting that Hydrogeddon gets reprinted at SR because I only have one of these and I would really like to get more, so I wouldn't mind it, but I don't think I'm going to be opening this. And then Gurnia is the ultra rare, which I don't believe is very good. It's kind of like Vampire Lord, but it's not a very big body, so I don't think it's playable even in any sort of zombie core. And with the release of Gladiator's Assault came a new sweeping Forbidden Unlimited list, one of the largest Forbidden Unlimited lists of all time. This changed so many cards around. Confiscation was put to 0, Metamorphosis goes from 2 straight to 0, and this is where it will stay for the rest of time. Snatch Steal gets rebanned. Yes, they tried to unban Snatch Steal for one format, and it did not work. Ring of Destruction gets the axe as well, and then we have a lot of limits. Breaker and Magician of Faith come off the list to 1 copy, and then we have 11 limits. Card Trooper, Disc Commander, Marshmallow Snipe Hunter, Brain Control Fisher, Gold Sark, Megamorph, Smashing Ground, the Transmigration Prophecy, Trap Dust Shoot, and Wall of Revealing Light all go to 1 copy. This was very necessary because Troop Dupe Scoop was running around everywhere in this format. Snipe Hunter is very powerful. We haven't been able to play Snipe Hunter because we've been playing extremely archetype-focused decks, but Snipe Hunter is a very generically powerful card, and having that at 1 copy is going to be nice for the format in terms of being able to establish board positions and not having to dodge that 1 in 3 chance of having your card removed. A Brain Control to 1 copy is to prepare for 5Ds. Fisher and Smashing Ground is a period where Konami decided to take the approach to try to limit generic removal to be able to allow archetype-focused decks to flourish. Megamorph was re-limited after being unlimited because of its association with OTKs, which Konami was trying to curb OTKs at this time. And then Trap Dust Shoot finally gets limited. I don't know how it took Konami this long to limit this card, but it is very, very powerful. And then we have some semi-limits. Destiny Hero Malicious, which is one of the few cards that actually belongs on the semi-limited list. And then we have the 3 gadgets. So we'll be able to obtain these in this episode if we want to, because the Machine Revolt Structure deck was also released. So instead of taking those, we would be able to take this deck instead of a Wheel Spin, which is really nice, because this deck has some Ancient Gear support in it as well, such as Ancient Gear Gadgetron Dragon, a Nobleman of Crossout to 2, Pot of Avarice to 2, Royal Decree to 2, and then some unlimits, DD Assailant, Protector of the Sanctuary, Deck Devastation Virus, and Good Goblin Housekeeping off the list. I am very excited to open this set. 24 packs of Gladiator's Assault. This set won't impact our format too much now, but once we get some more support for the Gladiator Beast archetype later on, that could be an extremely powerful deck that may warrant bans. So let's go ahead and crack these open. We're looking for one-ofs of almost every Gladiator Beast. Some of the high rarity stuff would be cool as well, like Test Tiger, but I wouldn't count on getting any particular card at any rarity above Super, just because of how many there are of each. So let's go ahead and crack our first pack. We got a Swing of Memories, a Light Imprisoning Mirror, a Test Ape could be playable depending on our build, so I would say that's not a bad start. And there's our first super rare. It is Gladiator Beast Thorax. I don't believe this card is very good. If it tags in, then you can tag out to draw a card. Yeah, that's not very good. And there is Evil Hero Dark Gaia. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to play this OTK, even if we get the cards needed to do it, as far as this set goes. Just because we're missing a lot of the key cards that are necessary to complete this OTK. There's our first copy of Dimakari. We also got Expressroid, which I don't think this card is great. That's interesting. It buys back 2 Vehicroids in your graveyard, so it might be a cute one-of, but it's also a 400 and it requires it to be summoned, so you can't set it. It's okay. If we play the Vehicroid deck, we'll probably play that as a one-of. There's Gaio Diaz, which it's a serviceable fusion until we get some of the better ones in later sets. But the cards that we're looking for to make Gladiator Beast work are mostly from Light of Destruction and the Duelist Genesis. That is our first double-edged sword technique, which is a very important card for 6 Sam. And there's an ultra rare. It is unfortunately not the one we are looking for. It is Evil Hero Inferno Wing, which is the Flame Wingman for Evil Heroes. Spartacus isn't a bad rare, though. We will want one of those for the early Glad Beast lists. And that is our first copy of Bestiari. We only really need 1 copy because Bestiari gets pretty quickly limited, but it is nice to see that even though it is a common. Because of the size of sets, these cards are just no longer guaranteed because these sets are big. And there's a Colosseum Cage of the Gladiator Beast. It's a card you want to have multiples of if you play it just because of that protection effect, but it is not great. In early Glad lists, it will probably get played. It depends on the pool, of course, but we're really waiting for some of the support out of later sets to make Glad Beasts into the force that it was. And there is an ultimate rare. It's a good one, too. It's Defensive Tactics. That's the Waboku for Gladiator Beasts, which will give us effectively a 3rd copy of Waboku, and I'm pretty happy to see that because that's going to drive us towards Gladiator Beast, which is one of my favorite GX archetypes. It has such a big decision tree, and it's just a ton of fun to play. But it can be frustrating to play against just in that you have access to every monster in your deck at any given point. There is our first Hoplimus. That's going to be an important card as well, just because it's a 2100. It's a 2400 if it tags in, which is very difficult to get over defensively. And there's another Dark Gaia. Every time I see a fusion in the rare slot, I get excited because I'm thinking it's Heraklinos, but there are other fusions in this set. Let's be real, that's wishful thinking. If we want a Heraklinos, we're probably going to have to roll a Secret Rare wildcard, just because of how many Secret Rares are in this set. So in Season 1, my Gladiator's Assault Secret Rare was Gilgarth, which is the worst Secret Rare in the set by far because it's just an 1800 vanilla. I want to say it's the only time that a vanilla monster has been printed at Secret Rare in a core set. We're about halfway through the box. We did get our second Swing of Memories. That's an important card to see 3 of for some archetypes later on. There is a Gemini deck that is quite playable once we get enough cards later on, especially towards the end of GX and into early 5Ds. There are a lot of cards that support that. And that is also our first Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. We're 14 packs in, and that's the first copy of that card. I'm quite nervous because that is a really important card for dealing with some of the dark-based archetypes that will come out of the next set, Phantom Darkness. Oh hey, Dark Fusion! Now we can make that Evil Hero like we want to do that. Getting very nervous because we are missing a ton of cards and we only have 8 packs left to go. And there's an ultra rare. It's an interesting one, at least. I don't think it's great, but it is an interesting ultra rare. It's Security Orb. This is the top half of enemy controller that if it's destroyed while set, you get to destroy a monster on the field. This could actually see play now that we have Mystical Space Typhoon in the format, because we don't really have cards for punishing back row destruction, and that is the first one that does that. So I'm okay with that pickup, not gonna lie. We did also get a second copy of a Dark Fusion, so that does turn a couple of things online for us, but I still don't think we're going to be playing Evil Hero. And if we do want to play Evil Hero, we're going to need to pick up some copies of the Duelist pack that is coming up soon. And another Security Orb! Wow! Man, if these were Test Tigers, that would be something else, but double Security Orb? That is actually sick. I think we might end up playing these. That's a great way to punish Heavy Storm, and if I have Security Orb, I might consider keeping Heavy Storm around, because that's pretty cool that we got 2 of those. And there's one of the cards I was looking for, that's Gladiator Beast Murmillo. That's all we need, we just need one. I was wondering if we were going to see Murmillo. Now really all we need to see to make the Gladiator Beast eventually playable as far as this set goes, we have 5 packs to pull a Laquari. If we can get a Laquari, Gladiator Beast is online. And even if we don't, we can wildcard one. And we got a second copy of Evil Hero Infernal Wing. That's our 4th Ultra. I still don't think we're going to play Evil Hero even if we get a 3rd Dark Fusion. I just don't know that the payoffs are worth it, because we would have to spend our wheel spins opening packs from a Duelist pack that is otherwise not great, but I'll have to take a second look at it with Inferno Wing on the table, because I think this card is actually pretty sick. Because it's a Flame Wingman that pierces, and when it destroys a monster by battle, it damages your opponent equal to the higher of the attack or defense. The only issue is that Polymerization is much more searchable than Dark Fusion, but that's actually a pretty sick fusion. Alright, so only a few packs to go. We're still missing Laquari, and there are a couple of other key cards that we're missing as well. So let's go ahead and flip them up for a 20-second pack. We got another copy of Spartacus, which is okay. I don't know how much we're going to value that, and I don't think too many of the rest of these cards are either playable or we already have them. Then for a second to last pack, another Gaio Diaz. That's not the Gladiator Beast we're looking for. We're really looking for a Laquari. I'm going to have to spin pretty aggressively for wildcards if I want to play Gladiator Beast, because we are missing Laquari. But if we can get a Laquari, that's it. I also wouldn't mind seeing another Bestiari for now, because we have a 2, and Glads do get a lot of support in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, and it's really important to have 3. Once Gladiator Beast Bestiari gets unbanned for the second round of Gladiator Beast support. I think it's in Chaos Impact, which is a fairly recent set, but Gladiator Beasts do get a ton of support later on. Alright, for our last pack, one-time Laquari? That is not Gladiator Beast Laquari. We did get a 3rd Bestiari, though. That's important for now, and it will be important for later. So I would say this opening was decidedly average. There was some stuff that we did miss out on. Most of it at relatively high rarity. We didn't get an Anishi to play 6-Stam with. We didn't get Alexander, which is one of the top Glad Beasts for now. But the deck isn't playable yet, not until we get things like Proving Ground and Geyseris. We didn't get any Secret Rares at all this time. We did get 3 Swing, no Test Tiger, but if we get an Ultra or Wildcard, we'll probably spend it on a Test Tiger. But I would say overall these were pretty average pulls. We got 2 Shadow Imp. I think we got a playset of Light Imp. 2 Shadow Imp is enough. So I would say this opening was pretty average, despite getting 4 Ultras. Because of these 2 Inferno Wing, I may have to consider going back to Hero, because just Inferno Wing is good, and some of the fusions that we can get out of the next Duelist pack could wind up augmenting our Hero deck as well. I will see you in Deck Edit. So this is the list that I have currently registered for SJC San Mateo. We are currently X and 1, and if we can defeat DemonBattler, who we have been paired with in the final round of Swiss, we will make it to Top Cut and claim our copy of Crush Card Virus. So this is probably the most important duel that we have played so far in Progression Series, and it would be absolutely amazing to top an SJC with Water Beatdown. So I will take you through some of the changes I've made, because I have made a few changes to the list to make it a little bit less bricky and add some more interaction. We have one Abyss Soldier, one Amphibious Boogroth Mark III, double Aqua Spirit, BES Crystal Core, Crystal Seer, Cyberjar, double Fenrir, Fiberjar. The Mermaid Knight I cut down to 2. This card is still good, it just is not as good as it was before because I decided to cut Mage Power from the list because I don't want to get blown out by removal, which Demon has been playing a lot of. We have a Legendary Fisherman, 2 Warrior of Atlantis, Witch of the Black Forest, and the 5 normals rounding out our monsters. For the spells, we have triple a Legendary Ocean. I know this card is on Demon's radar, so I do want to play this deck as much as possible before it gets banned. We have Book of Moon Confiscation, Dimension Fusion, MST, Painful Choice, Double Terraforming, and then for the traps, we have a lot of traps this time. We have Call of the Haunted, Triple Compulse, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, Double Security Orb. This is a card that Demon will not be expecting, and this lets me get value when he Heavy Storms me or MSTs, any sort of back row destruction, because I'm getting very, very tired of getting blown out by Heavy Storm. So what this does is, it is the top half of enemy controller where you can stop a monster from battling, but the big payoff is if it gets destroyed while set by your opponent's spell trap effect, you get to just pop a monster on the field. And then we have double 7 tools the Bandit. I ran back the double 7 tools in the main deck because I saw a lot of Magic Cylinder, as well as just other powerful trap cards, and since we make such big monsters, a Magic Cylinder can put our life total very low, especially after we Solemn Judgment something. So that's going to round out our main deck. For the side deck, we have triple DD Crow, for the Dark World matchup, because since Demon knows that this is a monumentally important duel, since if he wins this duel, he can keep me off Crush Card Virus, I need to prepare for his Dark World deck because that is his best deck, so I've sided triple DD Crow and double Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror completely outs the Dark World deck because all the Dark Worlds activate in Grave, and this negates any dark monster effects that are in Grave, so this will completely shut off Dark Worlds if it's active. A double My Body as a shield to prevent his removal, a double Prohibition to stop combo decks, a 1 copy of Shrink. I moved this to the side because I found myself, by nature, this deck being on the offensive, so it's pretty rare that I can actually use this as a combat trick because I'm the one that's attacking and not him. A double Smashing Ground for more removal, another Dust Tornado if he's playing a back row deck, and then double Sakuretsu Armor. And the extra is not too relevant at all. Alright, let's go ahead and play our final round of SJC San Mateo and try to win ourselves that Crush Card Virus. It is time to get your game on!
Well, we're into one of your favorite sets of the series, so what do you think of this one?
I'm more concerned about topping at SJC San Mateo because the computer hates me and I got the pair down, so there is no way that I am going to make top if I lose this match.
Right. So yeah, for those who don't understand, basically, Rai spun the SJC prize card chance, which means that if he wins this duel, he not only gets to spin his prize wheel as usual, but he also earns the SJC top prize card, which is Crush Card Virus, which will proceed to probably fuck me up for the rest of eternity.
Well, until it gets banned. But until it gets banned, or you pull one out of Gold Series, because that card is released in Gold Series. But yeah,
I 100% need to make sure you do not get this card.
Yeah, it was extremely powerful and format defining. There were people that would go with just teams of people that had topped SJCs to be able to just have a better chance at winning more copies of the card for their team, just because that's how powerful this card is.
Right.
But,
all right. Let's see what we do.
Yeah, we will see indeed whether you get to play you get to play Dream Crusher because an 8-2 with your record is not going to top.
But that's the thing. I don't need to top. I just need to drag you down.
Yup. That's not a good start.
Alright, I'll take the play.
Alright, good luck, Duelist.
Good luck. Alright, draw, stand by main. Not quite what I was expecting to start with, but alright. I will set one card, and I will set a card, and pass.
Draw for turn, stand by main. This surprises absolutely no one.
Yep, that's good.
Fire it.
Alright, let me think.
You have an MST for me?
Don't have an MST. Alright, I'll, resolution's good.
Okay. Play a big dude.
Alright.
Battle.
Okay.
2650. Got the cylinder?
I have a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast.
That's pretty good also.
I will pitch a Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle to spin Gagagigo back to the top of the deck.
Still on the Crystal Beast. Interesting. After combat, I'll set one. Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna run out my Sapphire Pegasus.
You got it.
Alright. Let's see what we've got. I will move Carbuncle to the spell zone.
You got it.
I will flip my Amethyst Cat.
Yep.
Battle.
I'll take it all.
Alright. And I will pass the turn.
Alright, draw for turn. Could be anything. Stand by main. Run him out again.
Alright.
Battle phase, 2650 into your cat, so it'll be 1450.
Yep. Alright. And I will move that to the spell zone.
Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. Ugh, that doesn't... Let's see. Okay. Do I want to, though? Nah. I'm gonna run out another Amethyst Cat.
I get the feeling I'm getting bonked for 600.
Yep.
Yep.
And then I will pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Stand by main. Kind of want to see what you're up to. A little concerned about the life total, but I do want to see what you're up to.
Alright.
The giant Trunade, please. Get that out of here.
Oh, wait. That's Confi, not
Yeah, that's
forceful.
Confi. I'll go ahead.
I was actually waiting for you to hit Pegasus so I could get that.
I am going to run out my Warrior of Atlantis.
Okay.
Then battle. Let's clean them up. 300.
All right. I'll take the 3.
And then 1450 in.
Okay. And I think I will let this one go to grave.
Go.
Draw. Standby main. Ooh. Does that help me a lot is the question.
God, your hand is so scary though.
I'm gonna activate Heavy Storm. I don't like to do this.
Oh, you're gonna get to see a juicy one. In addition to getting this, you're gonna get to see a card that might make you think twice about activating Heavy Storm in the future.
Oh?
You get my Security Orb.
Oh, Security Orb. Nice.
Yeah, that card's real good at making people think twice about activating Heavy Storm.
Oh, it definitely is. Alright, so I'm gonna run out my Crystal Beast Topaz Tiger.
Yep, that's gonna get over the Warrior of Atlantis.
And yeah, let's let the cat eat some fish.
Sure, I take 100.
And I'll pass.
So you have one card in hand that's an unknown. Draw for...
Oh no, you know it. It's Amber Mammoth.
Alright, it is Amber Mammoth, not the Topaz Tiger. Boop, 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 boo. I do have another one. I opened 2.
Aw, god damn it. Okay.
Here's the fish.
Alright.
It'll be 1,000.
And then 2650.
Yep, and then 2650.
Actually, this will go
To the back
there.
row, probably, yeah. I don't know what saves you here, but go ahead.
Draw. Yeah, that's a no.
Yep. Thought so.
Damn it.
So on the Crystal Beasts again. Whew, that was a very big win because I'll be on the play for Game 3 if needed.
So, gonna go first. Alright, so draw, standby, main. Well, this is a good start. I'll fire Pot of Greed.
It's actually been a while since we've seen Pot of Greed.
It has. Okay, let's see. I'm going to set a monster, set a card, and I will pass.
Draw for turn, standby main. Oh my god, what a peel.
What'd you get? Of course you did.
No.
God damn.
Off the top.
Ah.
Off the top. This hand was so bad.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then I'm just...
Well, actually, I'm curious now what you've got. Like, I'm assuming you have a few level 5s, yep.
Yeah, I have level 5. Let's go to battle.
Alright.
Hit.
I'm going to Magic Cylinder that.
That's not good. After combat, I'll set a couple. Go.
Alright. Draw. Standby main. Thank you, God.
That'll get it off the table, at least.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, you're just setting it?
There we go. So that way, it'll flip again. Like, it'll show.
Right.
Because it makes it easier to actually remember that it's there.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see.
Oh, you must have peeled that, too.
I just peeled it, yeah. I'm gonna stack my Amber Mammoth for Ryza, and I will spin your Salmon to back to the deck.
That's very bad.
Alright. Battle, I will hit for 24.
24 in.
Main phase 2, I will set one card, and I will throw it to you.
I'm gonna dust that.
That was my Crystal Promise, which actually kind of worked good for bait.
It did. Well, I know what this card is. Go!
Alright, draw. Standby main. I guess we'll run out Sangan. Do you have anything to respond?
I'm gonna Security Orb that. The Ryza.
Okay. Nice. Alright. Sangan in for 1,000.
Alright. I need to draw one of 6 Legendary Oceans, I think. Hoop! I mean, I'm not dead. I can at least kill the Ryza now. Mermaid Knight?
Alright.
Eat the Ryza?
And Ryza falls. Okay.
This card is so good.
Let's see.
I think this is going to at least buy me another turn.
What do I want to do here? I'm going to set a monster. I'll switch my Sangan to defense, and I'll pass.
Draw for turn. Standby. Main. Thank you.
Damn it. Okay.
Well, there are so many virtual copies of this card.
True.
That I'm going to find it. Let's go ahead and run out the boy.
Okay.
Battle phase, I'm going to hit over the Sangan first, just in case there's a trick.
Alright. So let's see what we can pick up. I think I'm going to pick up a Emerald Tortoise.
Yep, and then I will attack the set.
Alright. That will be my Cobalt Eagle.
Which will go to the back row. Go!
Alright, draw.
Oh, I'm a
Standby
dingus!
main.
I forgot to attack with Mermaid Knight. That's my fault, though.
Oh, of course you picked this now. God damn it. Well, I'll set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn, standby, main. I'll run out another dingus.
Good God.
Battle phase, into what is probably Tortoise.
It was Tortoise.
Yep. So then this will be 34 and 2650, so 6050. At least I didn't lose a turn from not attacking with Mermaid Knight.
Yeah, that would have been a bit sad.
Yeah.
Draw.
Yeah, it didn't affect her clock, at least.
Yeah, I got it. I don't have it.
Oh, that was so nerve-wracking after that game, too. Oh my god. So, my opening hand... My opening hand was so bad. My opening hand was 3 level 5s, Security Orb, and Dust Tornado.
Oof. Yeah, that's
Oh,
fair.
you had Rainbow in hand, too. But
Yeah, I had Rainbow pretty much from the start, so... Unfortunately, I couldn't do anything with it, but... Oh, you pulled 2 of them!
Yeah, I was kind of hoping these would be Test Tigers, but Security Orb is probably the second best Ultra in the set. Maybe... Oh, you got one, too. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like this card, because it it disincentivizes... It gives me a way to fight Heavy Storm, is what it does.
Right. Also, I pulled this little bad boy too.
Oh, you got Malicious Edge?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, Malicious Edge is cool.
And I mean, granted, it doesn't necessarily do anything to your Gaga Gigo without Legendary Ocean being gone, but it at least can contest the Terror King Salmon.
This set isn't super impactful now, but when combined with the next couple of sets is going to be extremely impactful.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't imagine, because this is 3 consecutive wins for me now, so the Legendary Ocean might be taking an early exit from the format, depending on what you get.
Depending on what I spin. Which, I mean, granted, it's weird, because on one hand, if I spin a ban, that's going to be helpful, but at the same time, I feel like I still need some cards in order to catch up. But I don't know. At least if I do hit the ban and I pick ALO, honestly, I might be a smartass and pick Yumi just because it kicks out 2 cards at once.
That's actually the name that you hit. But yeah, this card at this point, given your card pool, I'm not surprised if you want to remove this from the format.
Like, it's definitely, the thing is, ALO is such a good card. The issue is just the fact that, like, yeah, I don't have a whole lot of ways to reliably remove it. Like, I haven't really I haven't bothered messing with Zane Truesdale packs yet to try to get an MST.
Really?
Not yet. I've been going for wild cards because I feel like there's a couple things here and there that I can still make use of, and it has kind of helped out a bit. So
I mean, you also have True Nade Heavy Storm, so you're not really hurting for backer removal,
right?
Whereas I lost Feather Duster, and to be fair, that card probably should have been removed from the format a while ago. But
oh yeah.
But either way, I guess I'm pretty heavily incentivized to try to make a Dark Focus deck now.
Yeah, next episode's going to be interesting to see what we pull.
Oh, right. Phantom Darkness, too. That set has a lot of the cards in it are high rarity, but they're so impactful that all it takes is just one good pull, and that will change the way deck building happens for quite some time. Especially since in 5Ds we have a bunch of dark-focused archetypes that could wind up being really good, like Infernity. I think Infernities are mostly dark.
Yeah, I think they're almost all dark.
There's Blackwing. There's a lot of really good dark archetypes that are coming up. And we have all the old dark support, too. Like, even with Chaos Sorcerer at 1 copy, like, that's still
a pretty good card, yeah.
Alright. See what we wind up with.
Right. Yep, let's see what we get.
Alright, so we finished a 10-1 in Swiss. Unfortunately, got booted out of top 8 by Perfect Circle, but Perfect Circle is the best deck in the format, so not a lot we can do about that. But we're in the winner's circle for the 3rd time in a row, and we now have our copy of Crush Card Virus on lock. So now I'm heavily incentivized to play Dark Focus decks, because this card just straight up wins the game against a large number of decks in the format. But we also have a couple of wheel spins, and now the SJC prize card is still on the wheel, but now it is Gold Sarcophagus. Gold Sarc is a card that will be a lot more accessible than Crush Card Virus, so we'll have chances at this later, so it's not a big deal if I don't get to pick that up, but we're going to go ahead and try to spin for wild cards. I would like a rare wild card to be able to get a copy of Gladiator Beast Laquari for the future. Oh, don't tell me. Well then, I guess for the next duel, I get to play for, Gold Sarc. Well then, I guess we'll have a chance to get a Gold Sarc too. So let's go ahead and take our respin for getting that wedge, and hopefully we get something else nice. I wouldn't mind a rare wild card, but it looks like we're going to wind up with a common. I'll need to see what commons I'm looking for. Yep, we'll get a common. Let's take a look and see what it is I'm interested in. So for my first common wildcard, I'm actually going to take a copy of Crystal Promise. I only got one of this in Force of the Breaker, and I am a Sapphire Pegasus away from being able to also play Crystal Beast. And there aren't really any other commons that I'm super looking for, so I'm going to lock this in. And I'm going to take my second wildcard spin for winning. See what we wind up with. I'm looking mostly at the rare, ultra rare, and secret rare wedges, and we might actually get the secret rare. No. We didn't get a secret rare, but we did get an ultra rare wild card. So I think I know what I'm going to take, but I just want to make sure. So the ultra rare that I have chosen to pick up off of my ultra rare wild card is going to be Test Tiger. The reason why I'm picking up Test Tiger is because Gladiator Beast is a very powerful deck, and in Season 1 I did not have a Test Tiger. So I'm going to pick this up because this can let me proc the Gladiator Beast effects off of Battle Phase, and it lets us go into some pretty silly plays with cards like Darius later on. You can just use this as an MST or a monster removal because we have Vermillo. My concern with Glad Beast is I don't have Laquari and I don't have any of the boss monsters, but a lot of the really good boss monsters in Glad Support are coming up in later sets. And speaking of later sets, our next set is Phantom Darkness. One of the most impactful sets of all time in terms of constructed. I don't know how much it'll impact us in Limited because a lot of the cards that were super format defining were at high rarity, but all it takes is one of those to greatly impact our deck building decisions. So that'll wrap it up for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Join us next time when we open Phantom Darkness. Until then, see you around.